I'm here with Jordan, and we're in the lovely city of Florence. We're not in Red Hill today. So, as some of you might have known, Jordan got married this week to his beautiful wife, Faye. So, we decided to have a bit of a catch up in Florence. So, we're just going to have a bit of a review of the season just gone, and then we're going to have a chat about the plans for the coming season. So, congratulations, Jordan, on your wedding.
Mate. First signing of the season. So yeah, all done.
How was your day?
No, yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, we had. It's been beautiful, and to share it with so many people has been lovely.
Yeah.
But looking forward to getting back into the football season now.
Cool. So, firstly, Jordan, how was your first full season at that level? Let's step 5, and also at Red Hill. How did you feel your first full season went?
Well, I think it feels like a bit of a failure, and that's not. I think there's loads of good bits about it, but I wanted to achieve something quite special in our first year.
Yeah.
And we fell short of that.
Yeah.
But I learned so much on what it takes in a 38-game season, what it takes to be competitive, the little nuances that you need to consider as you go through the season, learning so much about the type of characters, the type of players that you want as part of your setup that work for you. I spoke to near enough every manager in the league, and I got a lot of the same messages about what the challenges that they were having, and now some have dealt with it, and I took some of that and I'm going to apply that this year. So it was a massive learning curve in my first full season, and as a group our first full season. To be just outside it hurt, but also, it's not a bad return considering where we're at, and you've always got to measure it with what you are as a club. And as a club, in all aspects, in terms of infrastructure, people can talk about loads of different things, but I felt we probably, and the table never lies, we finished where we deserved to finish. And I felt like we probably underachieved internally, but externally I don't think it was the worst achievement in the world, but because there was loads of good things about the season as well, like FA Cup runs. We had so many memorable moments, so many memorable scorelines, memorable games, and it was just a disappointing way to finish it, but we'll be looking to enjoy the second season, and I won't be making the same mistakes again. So those 4 points, 5 points that we were off it, I think we'll be able to make up.
Yeah, definitely. And then regarding again what you were saying, do you think then the aspect of the characters that you have in your squad, is that far more important, do you think, than the actual maybe ability of the players as such?
Yeah, I think you've got to get the sweet spot with the group you've got, and we've got things that are non-negotiable in how we work, and that's just not for everyone. And you learn that, and sometimes there's situations that you can't fix just because it just doesn't work that way between the pair of you and stuff like that. But all the players out this year, I can't fault for their honesty and their application. I can't fault that. It's just like any walk of life, and it happens a lot more in football because it's so fluid. You work out pretty quickly that it's just probably wrong time, right place, wrong time. There was loads of that situation, and I've looked at the likes of Naphill, who've done extremely well this year, Jersey, who have done well every year. They've kept consistent squads and built around the sort of foundations every year. So I'm sure we'll come on to it. We're going to build on those solid foundations this year, having learnt so much last year.
And then regarding, again, now we've had a few weeks to reflect on, you've had a few weeks to reflect on the season. What do you think's been the biggest learning experience you've had from this season?
I think it's the importance of burnout. I feel like we put a lot of effort into the players, and the players put a lot of effort into what we were trying to do. And we probably did too much at times. We probably did too much. There was elements where it was required, and I feel like at the start it's really required. When you're doing pre-season, at the beginning part of the season, you want to really set your stall out. But I feel like you need to just find a rhythm and then try and maintain that. And I felt at times we just lost our rhythm, either through our own decision making, the amount of demand we were putting on the players, training, friendlies, things like that. And then also the league and the fixtures, which I think everyone was frustrated with. Like we had the month of December where we played one game, and then if you look at the sort of losses we had this year, they all came around that time when we were finding our form again. We had that sticky patch. So I think
because we were in good form going into that.
I remember we beat Tooting away, and we were really pulling up trees, and then we went into December with nothing, and then had one game on the 16th, and then nothing until January, and then it took us 4 or 5 games to really get our mojo back, and then we started. Then we went on that really good run. So I think we probably should have done more then. And then there's other times like when it got to playing, Saturday, Tuesday, we probably needed to take a bit off the lads on a Thursday and just sort of try and get into a rhythm with that. But live and learn, because we wanted to be as professional as we can be. But then there's definitely a thing in step 5 where you can be, and we're not blowing smoke here, but you can try and do too much. You can be too professional, if that's a thing. Like because the boys have all got day jobs. They've got a lot of stresses in their own personal life, like what you do and I do. And I feel like we all put too much pressure on ourselves because we all wanted to achieve so much. We all put too much pressure on ourselves and tried to force it rather than letting it happen organically. And I think that organic approach will be added this year.
And with that, I think, a lot of the players over the season, there's been a lot of comments about how professional the setup has been. Again, do you think that needs to just be simplified this coming season a little bit?
I think there's loads of good bits about it. Like, no player wants to turn up at training and have 5-a-side when they're giving up hours of their time. You know what I mean? Like, we want our training to be structured. We want it to be proper. I enjoy coaching. That's my forte. I enjoy it. So do the guys. So do the management team. So we want to keep that, but it's just knowing when and what to do. And I felt like this year we put a lot of focus into our opposition analysis, opposition bits, when really we should have just worried about ourselves. And I feel like there was a lot of times where we probably gave mixed messages due to the fact that we were focused on all aspects when we could have sort of simplified it and just focused on us, and that probably would have been enough. Probably would have been enough, and we wouldn't have over thought things and overdone things at certain times. But there's definitely things I'll keep. Like there was loads of good bits, but like we would never have beat Herne Bay and Ashford and these types of teams if we hadn't done that level of homework. We would never have been competitive against the likes of Jersey, Nappill and stuff like that if it weren't for that level of homework. But then, is that required at all games? Probably not. Probably not. So it's just picking and choosing how you deliver on things, and I think you then get more out of it. I think you then get more out of it. If you do it for every game, then you probably lose a bit of impetus with it. But if you do it for the selected ones, I feel like you'll get what's required.
And I guess as long as you guys as a management team have that information and know what is, you're coming up against, you can feed that information, I guess, a slightly different way to the players.
Yeah, definitely. Like we tried loads of things this year, and some things really worked, some things just fell on deaf ears, and that's just because that's just the way it is. We'll really simplify everything next year, but not lose our identity and being really organised, really robust. I think our defensive record was 2nd or 3rd in the league. We had an excellent, and that was because of our structure, our shape, and how we worked so hard. So we're not going to lose that, but we need to make sure that we're not overthinking things.
And then you did touch on it earlier. Obviously, our target was the playoffs this season. We did fall short of that by the 4 points. I think Croydon had a better goal difference than us in the end, I think, as well. So maybe 5 points in the end. Do you see that as a bit of a failure this season, or is it just something again that you've learned from and then you take that into next season?
The target was playoffs. That was the target. So definitely is a failure in terms of what we wanted to achieve. As I said at the start, I don't think it's a failure in terms of where the club was at. I feel like we gave a really good account of ourselves. Really good account. And if you look at everyone who finished above us, Farnham, who were the best team at this level in the country, Nappill, who've got one of the most well organised teams, management team who are brilliant, who have now gone on to step 4. You know, you look at Jersey, that's a 6-7 year project,
Yeah.
and they're still not getting out of it. You then look at Tadley, very similar to ourselves, and did unbelievable when it went to Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday for them. They were unbelievable. And then Croydon, what Glash did there, you know, we were the last game before Glash came in, I believe, and we beat them 5-1. And this is no disrespect to them, but they were in disarray at the time. And he has steadied that ship, worked with some excellent players, and achieved what no one thought we would achieve. And fair play to him. And I don't think there's any shame in us being outside it on those teams. Yeah. If there was someone in there, I'd go, yeah, we had more than them. We had more resource. We had more this, more that. All the things that you can measure yourself against. I don't think we did.
Yeah.
But the things that mattered, we wasn't as good at, and that's evident with Naphill. What them guys did there was incredible, and I was gutted for them that they didn't finish in the second place position.
Yeah.
They deserved to be the second best team. Not to say, obviously, I just think with everything that went on there, I just think they were a credit to the league, and they were a great side. So yeah, but well done to all of them. And then obviously it's like it happens a lot in the playoffs, isn't it? The team who sneak in at the end.
Yeah. Well, normally they're the team that's in that momentum.
They've got the momentum, yeah, and they did it, and fair play. And I'm pleased that they're out the league, and I'm pleased Farnham are out the league. And I think we'll probably come on to it now. I think it's wide open next year.
Yeah.
Wide open. I don't think there's people that will mention certain names, but I don't see another one. I don't see another Farnham or anything like that. I don't see anything like that. So I'm really excited about the blank canvas that's in front of us.
And then regarding, us falling short point-wise, and again, no disrespect to these teams, but when you reflect on the score, some of the scores, and some of the teams we lost through the season, does that make it a little bit more disappointing as well? Because we did drop 6 points against Clearwater. Epsom got that last minute equaliser against us. That was 2 points. The Cobham game, when you add them points together, we're probably, not even talking about fifth place. We're talking third, that kind of...
Totally. We're like the Shearwater one away. The home game I don't have any gripes with. We got sucker punched and we didn't kill them off. The away game, when I watched that back, I was like, how we didn't win that game.
Yeah.
It was incredible, and that's no disrespect to them, but we had got like a ball on the line that my forwards has got to tap in and he misses it. And it was just one of them games. They were our bogey team last year. Hopefully we correct that next year. And then you had, there's loads that you could look at. Abbey away. We gave away sloppy goals. Abbey done the double over us. There's plenty of. But ultimately we can only kick ourselves because everyone dropped points against these teams that were lower down. Right? What we didn't do is we didn't beat or get enough points off the teams above us. So we beat Croydon, drew with Croydon. Tadley beat us twice. Jersey we drew with twice. Naphill battered us and we drew with them. And Farnham beat us twice. Naphill took something off Farnham. So we just didn't do enough. So I'm more worried about the fact that we need to improve against the better sides and get more points out of them than worrying about what's below us, because I think Colliers drew with Naphill. I think there was everyone had that team that they dropped points against lower down the table. And I don't think there's no shame in losing to Abbey twice, but there is, for me, you've got to be beating, if you want to be second, third, you've got to be beating those teams who are going for them places as well. That was the difference. That was the difference. If we had beat Naphill twice or beat Tadley twice, we'd be sitting there saying we were fourth, fifth, and it'd be no issue. But we just didn't do enough against the good teams.
And then lastly, before we go on to this coming season, do you feel that the first team, the way that the first team have been playing, and there's been a bit of a buzz at the club, do you think that's gone in hand with how the club itself has grown? Like obviously the youth section's come back into the club itself. We had a great presentation day with so many young, players there. I believe there's 29 youth teams now connected with the club. Is it a really good place to be at the moment as a club as a whole?
I think the best part about the club, and it can, it's not frustration, but you have to be patient with it, is the organic approach of what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, there's no throwing the baby out the bathwater and having one good season and then, you know, pushing water uphill for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is do things organically. Jerry, the committee, the youth section, John Hobson, they're all trying to grow and build in an organic manner and not get ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is give the club, the town, a team to be proud of on the pitch.
Yeah.
Our attendances since we came in have gone up by, I think it's roughly around about 40%, which is fantastic to see, but we want that again this year.
Yeah.
We want to put on even more for the local community. We want to do a lot more, and that will only aid us in what we want to achieve. You know, I think back to the Hawley games, you know, having that local derby was brilliant, and we had a lot of people turn up for them games, and we had so many turn up for what we would class as the big games. You know, I remember when it was down to crunch time and we were playing Cobham, and the way the fans reacted to the players having drawn that game, which was a disappointment for everyone. I thought it was just, we really got the buy-in from them, and I think the organic approach will allow us to grow again this year.
Yeah.
And they will be with us, and like the youth section, like the amount of mascots, the amount of
Most home games we've got.
yeah, the amount of mascots you've got, the amount of like, you know, just people that now you can relate to and have got a relationship with the players, and that's why it's really important for me. I would have really struggled, Sam, to continue if a lot of the players that we had this year weren't going to stay on.
Yeah.
Because we've built something really special, and to be able to continue that, we needed to keep them together.
Yeah.
So, we've got, 9, 10 retained, and that will stand us in good stead.
Yeah. So let's go on to next season.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're already trying to plan and put things together already.
Yeah.
Are you excited about the coming season?
Yeah, massively. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the to getting going. Really, like it's we're ahead of where we were last year.
Yeah.
Which is frightening to think, because obviously we were starting from 1 or 2 players last year. I think the only player from the season before, when I came in for the last couple of months, was Tyrese that we started the year with. I believe so. I don't think there was anyone else. So we've got we've gone from having 1 player, maybe 2 retained, to now having 10. And we're going to be looking to build on that. There's still a couple more that I'm talking to that I really want to keep, and we're going to be hitting the ground running. We've got a full schedule. We've got some fantastic games. We've got Dorking coming to Red Hill. We've got some really good fixtures. Farnham coming down.
Yeah.
We've got some really good fixtures. We're going to have a real go at being a better version than what we were last year. There's no guarantee that we're going to even finish 6th. There's no guarantee. But what we will do is we'll maintain a lot of the good things we did this year and add in some of the quick wins that we definitely can get. Yeah. And hopefully that will give us a better chance of achieving a better points total.
Cool. And how important is it to retain that spine of the
massively?
team?
So there'll be, I don't know when this is going out, but there'll be announcements of like we've retained Luke, our goalie, who, and I've said this to him personally. I thought other than Pat and Josh from Naphill and Farnham, which is no disgrace, by the way, because Pat Nash is now signed for Aldershot. Yeah. Josh is definitely going to go and play levels higher. We've managed to retain Luke, which is a credit to the club and a credit to him in terms of what he thinks of the project. Yeah. We've got Owen Fraser, our captain, who has been a part of successful teams for a number of years in this league and has really helped me last year. We've got Tommy Smith, who was one of our players of the season, and we only had him since it was around November time. So we've got another 3 months of having Tommy a part of us, and
he made a big difference.
He made a big difference. You've then got Tom Goddard, who we missed the last 2 months, and other than T, was our top goal scorer. Yeah. And if he was fit for the remaining 8-9 games, I believe he would have been our top goal scorer. Keaton, who massively showed what he was about come the end of the season. You've then got AG, who was the most unsung hero over the entire year, filled gaps, played multiple positions, played in all the big games. You've then got, I'm just thinking more and more. There's more than that, but all the players that we've retained, Hogan, Ethan, Hogan was only with us for 6-8 weeks, and he scored 21 goals last year. Imagine if he's doing that for Red Hill. Ethan, You know, he started like a house on fire, but he probably done 3 months. So we've got a lot to look forward to with the retained players, and there's a couple more that will be announced hopefully in the coming days. And yeah, we've already signed a new fullback who will be announced shortly. We've got a forward coming in who's known to the club and known to myself. We've got midfielders, you know, looking to add, because we're obviously losing Jack, who's gone back to Dorking and from his loan deal. So yeah, we're in a good place, and we're going to be a hell of a lot more prepared, and we've got unfinished business. Is my big thing for this year. We've got unfinished business, and we're going to use that as a catalyst to drive us forward.
And regarding the players you're trying to bring in, is there key positions that you're trying to... I don't think you're trying to replace anyone, are you? You're trying to strengthen because of the amount of games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So is there key positions you're looking for?
Yeah, well, definitely. We had a squad last year for a large part, which was about 2021. And what I learned was that was way too big for this level.
Is that just try and keep everyone happy?
Yeah, well, you can't do it. And you need to have, one, because you don't have enough games, and two, because you lose, it becomes a bit fragmented. You know, so, you know, I looked at it this year, there was the amount of times that Nap Hill and Jersey and other teams were going to games with 13, 14 on the bench if they had injuries. You know, they weren't, you know, signing someone for the sake of it, or having a big squad for that one game that you've got to do that, or the couple of games. They just ran with it and trusted what they've got. We're going to go with 18, and we're going to make sure that we've got, you know, obviously we want to have enough depth to have the quality to compete, but we are going to make sure that we have 14, 15 that are, you know, they're all starters, and the others will be there as, you know, good young players. Good, you know, we look at this year. You know, we had Finn Roberts with us, who's now signed professionally at Bromley, and he won't mind me saying he had his first introduction to senior football with us, and he wouldn't have probably achieved what he had this year with Beckenham and stuff like that if it weren't for that time. And I still talk to him now and his dad. So we want to give a few opportunities to players like that, because what Finn if we would have kept Finn for the season, we would have been definitely in and around it, even closer. So yeah, I think we've learnt a lot. We need a few youngsters, enough experience, and a tight knit group, and we'll have a real good chance.
Do you think that the sub aspect, you know, because that changed to 5 subs, do you think that maybe throws that curveball in there about you have to have 5 subs? Because before you could only make 3 subs.
I feel like it's a massive advantage having the 5 subs. I feel like it's a massive advantage, because what you can do is you can obviously cater for most situations, but it shouldn't be like a needs must. It shouldn't be like a needs must, because ultimately if the team's doing well, you don't want to change much anyway. So there was definitely times when we didn't need to rush signing people or force things through. We did have enough.
And then over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of manager changes in our league with a lot of the teams that are around us, like you said, Jersey, Abbey Rangers, Nab Hill. How do you think that's going to affect this coming season?
Oh, it's going to be a totally different landscape to navigate, and that's why there's no guarantee on anything, and there's so many unknowns, like what an Apple going to look like. Mickey's a great manager. You know, what they're going to look like. That's a tough one to call. The Bazant brothers, I've come up against them before when they were at Bedfont and Feltham, when I was at Dorking at Step 6, and they're great managers, great guys. They've gone in at Abbey. That'll be interesting. Obviously Whiteleaf, you know, Whiteleaf coming into the league, got some fantastic players, and obviously I want a momentum. You know, they've got a number of promotions under their belt. You know, they're a rising phoenix as such, and then you've got, you know, all the other teams. Tadley, they're not going to go away. I know they've had one of their managers go, but they've got a bit of consistency there, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Yeah, there is so many unknowns, and obviously Jersey, which no one expected, having their manager change, and obviously they've announced their new manager. I don't know anything about him. What does that look like with the players? So yeah, it's going to be a hard one to call. And I
suppose with Jersey, they're likely to retain a lot of their players because of their aspect of their club.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You would like to think so, but then a lot of them could be like, well, I've been on this journey with the previous management. That's probably me done.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can surmise it all. We won't know until the first ball's kicked and we see what everyone's doing, and it will take 10 games like it does all the time for it to settle down.
Yeah.
But you've got teams like Tooting, you know, they've got, Penny's gone in there now. They're gonna be decent, mate. They've signed some good players already. Like, it's gonna be so interesting. I can't wait to see what it all looks like. I can't wait to see, how it all takes shape. And we just hope and we'll do everything that we possibly can to be in the mix. That's what we'll do. And if we're not, we'll only have ourselves to blame.
Yeah. And then going on to that, regarding the clubs and yourselves' target for this coming season, what does that look like?
Well, it's to finish as high as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And as they were last year, it's to get in those playoff positions.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do. There's no denying that. I think if I tried to say anything else, people would see through it. The plan is obviously get in those playoff positions and get as high up in them as you can. And then I think the team this year that wins it will be like most years, the most consistent team. But I don't think it's like as straightforward as, these are going to be the three that are going to be around it. I think there could be, Fleet. I don't think they're going to be their management team's excellent, and I think they were only growing come the end of the year. I can't call it. I think there's probably 10 teams this year. Cobham, who I thought were excellent both times we played them. I know they're retaining a lot of their players. I genuinely think if you look at it, I think there's 10, 12 teams that could all be top six, and then I think there's probably 8 teams that could probably think, if we put a good run together, we won't be far off winning it. Let it all commence. It'll be good fun.
And then regarding yourself, and the way your team, you want your teams to look, how does a Jordan Clark's team feel like the way that they play on the pitch?
Yeah, I think we need to be adaptable. We had a style that started off with total dominance in how we did things in terms of possession, and then I quickly learned when we got into those cold, dark winter months and the pitches were a bit worse. I know it's all cliche stuff, but it did affect how we did things, and we weren't really, as much as we knew it would happen, we weren't probably aware enough of it. So I think we need to have many more ways to skin a cat, and I think we need to, within those many more ways, simplify them as much as possible and have players who can take it to market. Because ultimately, I can have all the answers or think I've got all the answers, but if players can't take it to market, then it's an issue. So we're going to make sure that the players have the easiest route to taking it there, and that we are prepared for most situations. And I'd love us to dominate the ball and be fluid in how we do things, but we are going to be as competitive as we can be, and in whatever way that looks like. So I'm not going to be sitting here saying we're going to, play through the thirds, be direct, go around the edges, whatever. We are going to find many ways to be productive, and the productivity is what I'm looking for. And there was times last year we could have scored 10 goals because of how we played and the football we played and stuff like that. And there was other times when we couldn't hit barn door. So I think it's just making sure that we've got different tools for different situations, and we'll be all right.
And your management team, is there any changes to that this year, or is it pretty much the same?
No, so everyone's staying. So Luke, assistant manager, yourself as head of football operations, and then we've got Matt, first team coach, and we've got Jack, first team coach, Simon, goalie coach, Jay, physio. And we're looking to bring in someone who can add on a couple of fronts like social media and stuff like that. But we'll just wait and see. We want to try and help you and support you and grow the club a little bit more off the pitch, so that we can then be more engaging with the local community, younger people, and try and give something a bit different again this year. But watch out for that. It should be exciting.
And then finally, have you got a message to the fans, the Lobster Army, for this coming season?
Well, look, stick with us. We're going to have many good times. I can't promise that we're going to, have the same FA Cup run, stuff like that. But what you've got is a team and a management team that have got massive unfinished business, and we're hungrier than ever, and they should look forward to more memorable moments and be with us on the journey, because it's going to be one hell of a ride.
Yep.
And it will be interesting to see how everything pans out. And we look forward to welcoming them to the Kilnbrow. And what's that? What's our first game in about 8 weeks' time?
It's not long.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks' time, and we look forward to welcoming them then. And yeah, it'll be exciting.
Cool. Cheers, Jordan.
Cheers, Sam. Thanks,
Okay.
mate.